Hey everyone, so I'm going to be going over the new Japan updates. So Japan got some pretty big updates this week, and it's going to take a while to go over everything because one of them I want to go into a little more depth with. So get ready for a longer one. Anyways, so let's start. So today we have the White Day event out. So for anyone familiar with Japanese culture, Japan has two holidays that are kind of associated with Valentine's Day. There's a Valentine's Day on February 14th, and then 1 month later, on March 14th, I believe it is, we have White Day. And it's my understanding of this, and I am no professional on Japanese culture, is that it's kind of like Valentine's Day and White Day are split up, where on Valentine's Day it would be customary for the girls to give the guys chocolate, while on White Day the boys return the favor. I am not 100% sure that that is like the actual in-depth explanation of the whole thing. If anyone has anything further they'd like to add in the comment section about explicitly the differences between the two, that'd be quite welcome, as once again, I am no expert in Japanese culture. I am just doing some Japanese gacha game videos in my spare time. So, anyways, this is Moa. And aside from being completely adorable, Moa is actually, I believe, related to Eve. And if I'm not mistaken, she is Eve's cousin. Now, Moa is, unlike Eve, not a limited unit. She is in the general pool, and she is fairly strong. She has the Raksha job, which is significantly better than the Bride job. The Raksha job is basically a berserker. It just punches things instead of chops things up with an axe. As for their actual utility on the field, they're relatively similar. Raksha is not like some... Raksha and Berserker are just not some super godsend jobs. They feel kind of clunky to play. They are relatively strong, and the reactive is one of the best in the game. And I'll go over that in just a moment, because I am going to give a quick rundown of Moa while I'm here. But at the end of the day, what they often in some of the higher tier maps just end up being too slow to effectively be great. They're definitely solid, they're just not great. Anyways, so as far as Moa is concerned, she has gotten her Kaigen. And while I'm only 520, she does have gates 4 and 5 unlocked, as all new Kaigen units do. So any new unit that gets Kaigen at this point that didn't have it before has been receiving up to their gate 5, unless they're collab units, and the collab units have been kind of a mixed bag. As far as Moa is concerned, she has all 5 of her gates, and on gate 5, she will get an upgrade to that reactive, and on hit, she would normally receive 20 joules, but after that upgrade, she will be receiving 30. And 30 joules will allow her to use any skill in her kit after getting hit 3 times, as opposed to 4. And yes, there are some skills in her kit that cost, or at least there's one skill in her kit that cost 80 joules to use, and that's the reason why Rakshas and Berserkers are slow. They have all full joule gain, and they have to get hit in order to get joules, and it's kind of dangerous. But as you can see, it's with her just 520, Moa is already boasting 6.2k HP, and with her Kaigen Gate 2 giving her an additional 15%, that'll go even higher. There really aren't that many gloves in the game in order to use. I have the Dragon Fist on right here, which gives you an extra small AoE attack in the line in front of you, as well as having the possibility of clock up one hit, and I believe you should be acquainted with the rest of the gear I have here. So this was a recent 3-star Nensou we got, and unlike other 3-star Nensous, this one's actually good. 320 HP and 5 water resist at max limit break for Lustberg units, which effectively makes it better than the Alma swimsuit Nensou, at least because it's max limit break. I'm sure that one's better if it was max limit break, but that is limited summer Nensou, so that's too whale for me. Moa is a great unit, boasting a great leader skill with 50% HP, 30% attack, and 20 dark exploit, and 20 of that 30% will change into all damage when she gets her 3rd gate. As for whether you think the gate is worth it or not is up to you. So that's enough about Moa. I will do a full-fledged video of her and her Job Plus at a later date. I don't really have time for that tonight. The other person who got something today is Kevin. Kevin also got a Job Plus on his Telekind job, and I do not have many of his shards. I never farmed him, and I've just kind of ignored him. I don't know whether he's good or not. I'm sure he is, as all new Job Pluses are at least relatively powerful in Japan. They both did get new Nensous today, and I'll go over them shortly. Well, kind of go over them. I'll at least show you where they are in the banners and why I can't pull them because I'm poor. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the special shops. Because we have 9 million downloads, and the next person wins a free car, right guys? Not really, it just means that we have awful gachas. But we actually did get a couple good ones today, and I'll go over that. Anyways, we got a 5k box. And this is the reason why you should always have 5,000 gems on hand. As you can see, Moa is available for my pick ticket here, as well as the SSM and Vita units, and Kaya and Bado. Now this doesn't have any limited units in it, and all these are available in the general pool. We also have a 50 shard variety of the same ticket, as well as a Nensou select ticket that goes right up to Rakina, who I think was the last normal Nensou we got. As for how long ago that Nensou came, it's criminal. Anyways, the only ones here that I'm really missing are Tilter, Magnus, Courage, Albea, and maybe Sophia. I don't think I have Sophia. If I do, then I probably ignored it because I really don't care about that character that much, in all honesty. It does have the rest of the old ones, but nothing limited or nothing super new. There is a 4-star gear select ticket in here, and this is pretty good. I'm not entirely sure what I'll get when I get the box. I don't have enough gems yet, unfortunately. Although it does not have any limited gear like the Snow Globe. And finally, there is a 25 elemental shard select, 100 of the gold shards for weapons, as well as 300 apples. So 5k for that box, it's completely worth it. If you are a Japan player, you should be buying this box every time it's available. Anyways, some other things to note is we got another 1.5k paid relief ticket. So if you need a limit break on a Nensou, this is the way to do it. And the reason why this is important is going to become very apparent of what I'm going over soon. It's unfortunate that it is so expensive. One limit break for 1.5k paid is just not a very good price conversion, at least not for like a packed player. If you're a whale, then it's fine, but I'm not a whale. They have these also 1.5k packs, paid packs, which basically gives you the materials you need for a full 55555 Kaigen. I think I said it 5 times. Same thing for this, but it's the collab version of the same thing. It's honestly not worth as much because these materials, not only do you use less of them, but they're more available in general. The 500 box has 10 of each flag. It's garbage. But you do have this 1,000 4-star selector, which for 1k gems, I think that's worthless. Equipment's kind of worthless. Honestly, these days the mechanical visions aren't as valuable in Japan. I wouldn't put 1.5 down for that at all. So we've got our standard shops here. That character you see on the front, I don't even remember what his name is. He's new. He's kind of forgettable. He is a Raksha job, kind of like Moa. I don't even know what the rest of it is because I really didn't care. We got Black Killer Freakagul today, and we got the Etrian Odyssey, and these are just more of the same. Frags, and more frags for 4k. I can't afford any of it, unfortunately. Can you hear the salt in my voice? As far as character skins go, we got Phrase today, which makes me sad inside. So let's hop into our banners real quick before we get into the real meat and juice of the content. Just covering all our bases. So there's good news and there's bad news. So we're going to start with the good news. So the good news is I had multiple 500 gem 1-steps that I could pull today. That's big news in Japan, okay? Like, hear me out. We have just not been getting many 1-steps. So I've been feeling really stagnant for a while now on a lot of the things I could get, because you can't get dupes if you don't have 1-steps to pull on, right? And 2.5k for a step is kind of brutal. And it actually looks like this name, I believe that says Gino. I think. Yeah, that's Gino. It's definitely Gino. And here's Black Killer Frakagle, who is somehow wearing even less clothing than Black Killer Masamune, if that's even possible. So here's the issue, right? Moa and Kevin both got skins on their Nensous. They're both limited Nensous, and they're both on a 9-step select banner. We have not had any non-limited Nensous that I can think of off the top of my head since before the new year. Literally, 2018, back when the Rakina Nensou came out, I think that came out in 2018, that or it came out like on New Year's Day, and we haven't had anything since. Anyways, Rakina was the last normal pull Nensou that I can think of that wasn't limited. It's been 3.5 months. This is getting really brutal, and they've all been on 2.5k 9-steps. Now, this actually did, I think, have a 500 pull today, but that's just because it was on, it's on the 9 million download banner, and if we go through here, there is no guarantee on these steps, and it looks like there's a 6 times chance on step 7 to get a banner Nensou. And it does look like it has other limited Nensous, because I do see Soul in there, and unfortunately, because they implemented some really crappy version of anti-cheat in, I can't pull up my rates anymore, but I'm sure they're atrocious. Do I think this banner is worth pulling? Probably not. It does look like Step 2 has a guaranteed 5-star Nensou for 2.5k. I unfortunately do not have the resources to pull for it. There are these other 500 steps. I actually got Cheryl from this 500 step right here. This does have all of the limited units in it, it looks like. Since Cheryl was in it, and she's clearly a limited unit, and it shows Orion on the front. I'm willing to bet Soul is in the banner too, but since I can't pull it up right now, I can't tell you for sure, so not 100% on that. We have the Etrian Odyssey units. We have Black Killer Frakagle along with the other units. I'm just going to say this right now. If you do not have Black Killer Masamune, she was basically one of the strongest units in the game when she came out, and she is still one of the strongest units in the game. She is one of my go-to content clearers. She's very effective at what she does, very consistent. She's very much worth getting if you can. If you're a new player in Japan, you have a lot of gems, or you're an old player and you don't have her, she's dead. Black Killer Masamune is definitely worth getting, and who knows, maybe you'll get Black Killer Frakagle. Although I haven't heard anything great about her yet. I haven't heard anything about her being broken. I saw a picture with some damage, but I don't know if it was optimal or not. So the other thing I got today was I got the POTK Nensou, and these were both 500 steps, and I won't be pulling any more than that, but they are 5-step guarantees from the looks of it. So if you have the money to put down, and like you want regular Masamune to be good, there's that, or if you want the POTK Nensou, there's that too, as well as the Etrian Odyssey Nensou. And the thing about the Etrian Odyssey Nensou and the POTK Nensou is they're kind of like jack of all trade Nensous. They kind of give stats to everything and are just kind of covering all their bases for all the collab units, because it's designed for all of the units from a collab. So we have our standard every day we get 1 free pull with 1 shot to get something, and I've only ever gotten the actual grand prize jackpot once before, and I still can't believe I got it. It's not the best Nensou that I got, but hey, it was something. These frag banners are really for Kaigen. They're not, I mean, you could pull them to pop a unit, but they're really not worth it, especially these units. And as far as the gear net gadget goes, it's 3-step, and I believe it guarantees a collab piece of gear. I will note that the Etrian Odyssey gun is the best gun in the game, so if you had any grand plans to use Edgar in Japan, you're going to want that gun. Now, you do have the Roxy gun in Global, which kind of devalues this gun, and at this point, I don't even think you guys are going to get Etrian Odyssey, to be honest. it's a real long shot that you guys get Etrian Odyssey. So I am going to go into the meaty content here, and this is the big difference between yesterday and today. So they have released leader skills on Nensous, and it's kind of nutty. So my understanding of it is you basically, in order to get a leader skill in a Nensou, it's going to have to be max limit break, and that is brutal. That is so whale. I can count on one hand how many 5-star Nensous that weren't free that I have max limit break, and it's like 3 or 4. Like, it's really hard to max limit break these, and like of those, Vettel and Chloe are 2 of them. I have Kuden maxed, and I think I have Spica maxed, and it's okay. So four max limit break Nensous. I could technically max limit break bolts, but I don't want to because then I have to give up the ability to run bolts, Nensou, on Rahu and Bolt at the same time, which I do not want to do. So I can't really max limit break that Nensou right now. And I'm just going to put this out here. So this is the reason why the relief things are such a big deal. Right now, for the reliefs, it's better to use them on a limited Nensou in order to get an extra one of those VCRs, if the VCR is really useful. I used a Slothstein relief today on my Aisha Nensou, so I could get a second Aisha VCR, which is a tact for Magic Meisters, and it's a really good tact. It's the best tact in the game. It's best in slot on any Magic Meister to my knowledge, so having more than one of them is a huge bonus. I also think that Aisha's Nensou happens to be the best VCR of the Sloth group, at least that we have so far. And seeing as almost all new Nensous are almost impossible for me to get anyways, I'm just going to work with what I have. Getting a limited Nensou to max limit break is not realistic for anyone but the whalest of the whales. And honestly, I think if Global tries to do this, it's not going to end well for the global server as a whole. I really hope that they find a better way to go about this, or they make the reliefs easier to get, and there is a good chance they will get easier with time. But the question is, will the damage already have been done before then? Anyways, enough talk about that. Let's get into the actual mechanic itself. So, here's the gist of it. You cannot run both your normal leader skill or your Kaigen or your Nensou leader skill at the same time. We have this little switch button, and you can switch between the leader skills at will. So, as you can see, on the bottom left of each of these Nensous, there is a little symbol. And in this case, this symbol means that it is a DG or SSM Nensou. So if I switch over to the Nensou leader skill, you'll notice that all the Nensous light up. If the Nensous are lighting up at the beginning, that means that that character is going to get the leader skill from the leader. And this is really important because what it means is that as long as they're from that region, they can get that leader skill. Now, there's another important thing to this. Let's go ahead and find someone that's a bit of a throwaway here. Lizard Man. I'll be doing a video on him soon. And let's find a DG Nensou if I can. Do I have an extra? No, I don't. Let's see here. I had a Dupe-Yoris this morning, but I fused it already. Where is... Oh, here we go. Monzine. This will work. This should work, at least. Okay, so you see, Lizard Man does not have an origin, right? But you'll notice that Monzine's Nensou is glowing. Monzine doesn't have to be a DG unit, too. He doesn't even have to get bonuses from the Nensou. All he has to do is have that regional Nensou on while the leader skill for the Nensou is activated. The regional group Nensou is activated. And Lizardman will all of a sudden be getting an additional 60% attack, and I believe that's 20% light resist from Kuden's leader skill. And that's a big deal, because what it does is it opens up the ability to use teams that you just could not before. Rainbow teams are now legit team strategies. Now, you might have to run suboptimal Nensous, But that is a trade-off that is worth taking in a lot of cases, unless the Nensou is like absolutely core for the unit to actually be played, kind of like Yomi is, and we've been over Yomi before. So being able to access these rainbow teams will definitely give us a lot more flexibility in the ability in our choices on who we can take into a map. So maps themselves, we can kind of target down certain areas instead of having to deal with what kind of people we have in our own element. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are realizing, wait a minute, Mal, this is whale as all freaking heck. Like, how on earth are we going to be able to afford that? And I just don't know. I really don't. This is definitely an awesome mechanic. Don't get me wrong. I love the idea of being able to use Nensous in order to generate leader skills so you can be more creative in your team. In fact, I explicitly stated that multiple times, at least in the Discord server, that I want to see more ability to run regional teams. And this is that. This will let you run a regional team. I can run the full DG squad just about. Or SSM squad. I can run Bashini and Zane and Yoros and Cannon and not Monzine. Monzine's garbage. But the ability to run these teams is really cool. It's just so limited. I only have a couple of units that can even use these. Now, let me just double quick check. Pull him up and I just want to check and see because I didn't actually check this. Okay, so basically what I was just double checking there is to make sure that it really doesn't matter who's using the Nensou. As long as the Nensou is max limit break, you can give it to any unit you want and they'll be able to use that leader skill. As for why my Edwin is level 85, I'm not going to give that away. Just know that when he gets his Kaigen, don't Kaigen him. Leave him at 85. And you might have a chance to get a prize. Anyways, let's move on to something else. So, White Day event. We have the EX and the standard map. The standard map gives Moa, the EX gives Kevin. They're both really easy to run. We have the 9 million download dailies, which basically it's going to give you 10 of everything in there. And for up here, it was also going to give you 10. It's basically set up like the VCR stages, where you get the percents for the clears. So that's super nice. This map is evil. This map is evil. I might be able to clear it if I go and do a better setup, because I hadn't fully equipped my units properly. But basically, it forces you to only use SSM units. So basically, it's forcing you into the whole leader skill thing. Now, in my particular case, I was just running double Zane and Cannon and hoping that they could take it on, and they couldn't. Not only is the map excruciatingly long, and by the time I got to the end, I was out of skill casts for just about all my best hitting skills. A lot of the units on that map have 6k HP for the trash, and the actual heavy hitting boss type enemies, and there's like 10 of them, have like 15,000, and at the end of 20,000 HP Orion spawns, who just starts going around and AoEing everyone for like 4 to 5k. It was nuts. And if I had regen armor properly attached, because I only had it on one person because I'm an idiot, I went in thinking, okay, how bad could it possibly be? And then like 20 minutes later, I'm just there still killing, like, oh my god, thank god it looks like I'm almost done. And then Orion spawned, and I basically just quit, because I'm like, yeah, I'm screwed. If you don't have a Kaigen SSM squad, it's not even worth attempting. These are freebies. I haven't done them yet. Just in case I pull them, I like to save these for later, because if I want to, I can throw them right up to 85, and I can use these shards in the Kaigen. But these have 150 gems to their name each, and I will be using those to supplement my box later. POTK is running again, as well as the Collabs, so Shinobina is running again as well. So if you wanted Elizabeth's swimsuit, you can get it now, and as well as Yuri, Tsukiyomi, and Eros. Not that any of them are really any good outside of Tsukiyomi now. So Etrian Odyssey. I know you guys have no idea what this event is about. And I am actually going to hop into a map here. So might be able to show you what I meant the other day when I said owlbear. I'll hop in with this team. So, owlbears hold a special place of being detested by me. I hate these guys so much. They are toxic enemies. And this is going to take a little bit, so if you want to like fast forward a minute, I gotta get over to the owlbear to show you exactly what it does, because you really can't gain an appreciation for just how absolutely toxic this thing is until you see it up close. But when I said owlbear, it was not owlbear, it was owl, as in the bird. And as you can see by the actual owlbear itself, it is half owl, half bear. As I shamelessly try to plug extra words into this as filler, as I have nothing else to really say while I run my way over here. Bashini's already clock stopped, which is not good. Okay, so do you see this? Owlbear has jumped into the air. Now, I understand that he's part owl, but I was not aware bears had great jumping abilities. Now this guy, look at it. Like, he doesn't have many jewels now, but on some maps their jewels are like full. It costs almost nothing for them to jump, and the absolute worst part of it is like they jump almost the moment they come back down. So unless you're actually counting count, it's very hard to determine when that thing is coming down versus when your units get a turn. So what ends up happening is if you don't have Kaya, you're basically screwed. And basically the reason I say Kaya is while we do have more units who can do this now, at the time this event came around last time, she was the only unit who could jump. Now look, there was none of my units got a turn in between the time that owlbear came back down. Now, it didn't jump for this time for some reason, but on some maps, he will literally just keep jumping again and again and again. This is especially true in the co-op maps. Unless they somehow fix that absolute toxic AI of his. This thing is a monstrosity, and all owlbears should be eliminated with prejudice. Kill them all. They have no right to resist in my Tagatame. Because doing some of these EO quests was literally pain and suffering. Literally, I'm not lying. When I was doing the, because you have to go through the story and stuff, and I just did it solo because I could, and I was trying to grind the, MP map solo because no one else was joining. And I literally took Jin. I sat Jin next to him with the regen armor on, and I literally just walked away from the MP and came back like 15 minutes later to see if Jim had countered him to death or not, because he just never run out of. He would never run out of jewels, and I didn't have Kaya at the time, and so I couldn't knock him out of the air. Nowadays, we believe Tina, Edgar, and Tamamo, I think, can all knock people out of the air too. So it is a little bit more prevalent now, the ability to deal with him. Now, as far as the Etrian Odyssey event for Global, I don't think you're ever getting it. Honestly, and I'm just being perfectly honest, pretty much every Etrian Odyssey unit at this point, even if they get a 5-gate Kaigan, is power crept. The issue isn't the stats, the issue is the kit. The kits of all of the Etrian Odyssey units are just dated. Now, Princess will be able to function as an Etrian Odyssey unit just because she has Forecaster. If you have Forecaster, it automatically means you're great, because as long as you have a decent enough HP pool, it means you're usable. Because all you need is HP to win nuke, and all you need is luck to use your Thunder AoE. And since Princess also happens to be a Thunder unit, it means her Thunder AoE is especially potent. As far as the other Etrian Odyssey units, I just don't know. I'd have to err on the side of they're just not that great, with one exception, and that's Gunner. And I'm not going to say Gunner is good, I'm just going to say Gunner has a niche. Now, I got into an argument with a guy over Gunner, and Gunner doesn't do much damage as a Gunner. If you want to run Gunner, I highly suggest running her as a Ranger. Honestly, you have to give up her own unique, and you have to give up the gun, but at the end of the day, she's going to be doing about 3k a hit or something like that, which isn't awful for an archer. I think it was like 2.7. And don't forget that Gunner just so happens to have, and I don't remember what the leader skill is off the top of my head, but she has like a leader skill that gives like 30 missile damage or 20 missile damage, as well as like 20 water all damage. So she gets like 30 damage, she gets like 30 weapon modifier and 20 all damage or something like that. And that's pretty freaking good for a leader skill. And she also has like 20% HP on there as well. And she can run with your Riza and your Disgaea Rin and your Lavina for arguably the most expensive and worthless water missile team imaginable. Because let's just face it, all those units as a whole, they're just outdated, they're power crept. But let's just face it, the water missile dream team of collab units, because it seems like almost every collab has its own water missile unit, and there's almost no regular water missile units. So that's all I have to say about that. Fencer does also have one niche where for 9 turns out of any battle, she can gain 100 evade. So she literally like becomes unhittable from her front. Now, the problem with 100 evade is you can get hit from your back or by a sure hit attack. But Fencer does have a niche of being able to dodge legit 100% dodge meme bosses for 9 turns of fight. Now it is only 9 turns because in order to reach those numbers, she has to use a buff that lasts 3 turns and she can only cast 3 times, which is where the 9 comes from. And her stare is creepy. It's real creepy. Although she looks like a cute character overall. I haven't run this boar map yet. If you're playing in Japan, this week's VCR stage is for all Nensous. So I'll just pull up my team right now to give you an idea of what I'm doing. So Logi should not be there. Oh wait, that's right. I ran this on my phone, so I have to rerun this anyways. But the 4 units in the front are wrong. This should actually be Setsuna. So I'm running Rakina along with the POT Nensou. I'm getting 2 of these because I really want these new JE coins because I got a lot of JEs coming up for 2 stars that I'm raising because I'm out of 5 stars to raise. And I believe that does it for events. Anything else I need to go over? Right, there is a new panel. So for the new panel, you get a free Leviathan. Regular Leviathan, not Black Color Leviathan. Regular Leviathan. And if you want to get her to 85, that's great. Because if you get her to 85, you get an additional 150 Leviathan shards. And I don't know what the rewards are in here. But based on the fact that I'm seeing Kaigen rewards in the first thing, I imagine there will be more Kaigen rewards in here. But we'll see. I'll open this up later tonight. And if it's something super amazing, I'll do another video. And all of these are old. It has nothing to do with anything I'm doing right now, at least. I'm not sure if I put these out, but they added more relief tokens to the bonuses, and basically you complete the last chapter of whatever is related to the region. Like for instance, earlier to get that Slothstein relief, I had to clear either the easy or normal Slothstein stage 7 from the Babel. Later Babels only have 7 chapters in it, by the way, in case you were wondering. For if you wanted to get the MV one, that would be you had to clear normal or easy chapter 10, the one with Nina and all of the rest of the Flame Guard, and you're fighting them. Nothing else of particular note here. Sorry, I'm starting to get tired. I gotta wake up at like 5 hours or something like that. But I'll get this video out before then. I still have to take a shower anyways. I can do that while I upload. Anyways, I don't think I have much else to go over. We do have a campaign right now where if you spend 900 or more yen on gems, you'll get an additional 100 gems and 25 Geno shards. I mean, if you're gonna spend money, that's great. I mean, you basically get if you were to get the 900 960 yen right there thing, you basically get double your money or something like that. I mean, it's great if you want to pay, but I really don't want to pay because I'm still kind of upset over the fact that I can't get Moa's awesome skin because it's limited. Although I guess she does have her own unique skin anyways, just kind of disappointing. And yeah, I think that does it. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening as always. I know there was a lot to go over today, so if you're still around, thanks for listening the whole time. I actually had to redo this entire thing because I did a major mess up at the very end, and I'm like, it'd be faster for me to go through and redo it than edit it because the video is so long and in such high quality that the actual compiling it would take freaking forever and chew through my computer's processor. So I'll just quick pull up Fencer here just so you can see her, as well as Gunner, who I happen to have as a ranger. And if you're wondering what she looked like as a gunner, this is it. I have Reaper, who I have no plans on raising. Still not sure if this is a boy or a girl. And finally, my last Etrian Odyssey unit is actually Princess. And she stares into your soul. You know, it's amazing how different her like look in her art, she looks determined. When you look at her like through here, she looks like she's about to kill you. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening as always. Thanks for watching as always, and hopefully I'll be able to upload a little more. I was just really busy this past week. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you later.